In an emotional and at times combative news conference today, the Las Vegas sheriff once again revised his story on how the Las Vegas massacre went down, defending his previous timeline as the result of a complex investigation and not incompetence.
The word incompetence has been brought forward, and I am absolutely offended with that characterization. This is a very dynamic event, very big event. Thousands of people involved, humans involved in documentation.
Police now say they believe hotel security guard Jesus Campos happened upon Stephen Paddock around the same time Paddock began shooting on the crowd at the Route 91 Harvest Festival on October 1st, not 6 minutes before it began, as the sheriff had said on Monday.
Mr. Campos received his wounds in close proximity to 2205.
The sheriff's revised timeline once again suggests Campos's encounter with the shooter may have led police to Paddock much sooner. That's because Campos had tried to enter the 32nd floor from the stairwell next to the shooter's room, police now say, only to find it had been barricaded.
He had screwed shut the door with a piece of metal and some screws.
In the stairwell?
In the stairwell, going out to the hallway right by his door.
Because he knew we'd be coming out that door to gain entry into his door. So he tried to barricade it as best he could.
Police say Campos was forced to take another route to the 32nd floor, and that once in the hallway, the shooter opened fire. Also tonight, new information from the sheriff on Paddock's tactics. He now says at one point the killer turned his guns away from concertgoers when he saw police arriving.
It is readily apparent to me that he adjusted his fire and directed it toward the police vehicles.
With tears welling in his eyes.
Excuse me for my emotion.
Sheriff Joe Lombardo said his officers had rushed to the scene and were trying to save lives. He visited some of those officers this week.
Brady sustained 4 separate gunshot wounds. And the reason why I bring this one up, he asked me if he could go back to work today.
But tonight, the biggest mystery surrounding the worst mass shooting in modern American history continues to swirl.
To me, the biggest mystery is the motive. I mean, it's just very odd that we don't know why. When we look at not just mass shootings, but anything, we generally know what the motive is fairly quickly. And the mystery to me is that here we are almost 2 weeks out and we have no idea why this guy did this. I think that he didn't want us to know the motive. Otherwise, we would have found it out by now.
But investigators are still doggedly trying to piece that possible motive together. The sheriff saying they're trying to establish a timeline of Stephen Paddock's life and everyone he was ever associated with. Wolf?
And Brian, that might even include his late father, who was a convicted bank robber, right?
That's right, Wolf. Today, the New York Times posted a psychiatric evaluation that was conducted on the father in a Phoenix jail in 1960. The evaluator concluded that Benjamin Paddock, pictured here, had a sociopathic personality, but said they found no evidence of mental disease or defect and that he understood the difference between right and wrong. Now, Stephen Paddock's brother has said that the father had very little contact with the family, that they really didn't know him, that Stephen Paddock was only 7 years old when the father went to prison.